Yeah, I'm managing to keep it on the track. And you can see it slow down. I'm keeping the throttle at the same speed. So when it slows down right over there on that piece of track, that's the track. That's not my throttle. I'm not letting up the throttle, lowering the throttle, I'm keeping the throttle the same. And you see how it burns ass down that second straightaway. Gets through all the corners okay. At about half throttle, but that's, see how it slows down on that curve and it goes fast there and then slows down there, right there. That's all still the same half throttle. So that tells me I got some dead spots. But the reason I turned the camera on, I haven't uploaded from yesterday yet. I spent all day painting the track, the curves, because it's all prep work. Prep is what takes the time. Preparing the track to be painted, you can't just take a piece of Scalextric track and paint it. So that's what took all the time yesterday, wiping it down. And I'm not going to go over the whole process because I did in that video. You'll see it uploaded today. So the day after the paint, I put the track back together. Now, as you'll see in that video, I ran out of paint, which is why there's still unpainted curves here and here on this track, because I literally ran out of paint. I had 3 cans of the textured paint and it's gone. And also at the same time, I ran out of the thin tape. And the last half of the bank curve, I had to use wider tape and then take the hobby knife and cut alongside the rails to get the tape smaller. Just like take the knife and run it along in that little ridge where I have my fingernail in between the rail and the track. I just drag a hobby knife along there. I'll show you that technique at some point, but yeah, very simple. Take a hobby knife to the edge of the tape, run it alongside the rail. You'll cover the rail and no track for painting, so you get a nice crisp line. You see that some of my better lines. This is with the regular tape. You can see the thin black line. It's good, but it's, you can still see it. And then here, where I ran out of tape, you see where it's right up against the rail. Now, theoretically, you could do that for the whole track, but whatever. I'm good. For me, good is good enough. You know what I mean? I'm okay. The main reason I painted the track was for grip. But my point on putting the track together this morning is we buy these sets to run the cars. So, I got all the diorama and I'm getting all the extra people to put in there and the trees I'm going to make with, get foam to stick them in and put the green stuff on top and blah, 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 blah. Yes, that's all true. And the cars, for me, if you're a car guy like I am, the cars are a big part of it. Just having the different cars, sitting here like this makes me happy. Yeah, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, sorry. But for me, just looking at these cars and having them lined up like this and running them around the track like I was doing this morning with the Camaro. Once again, the black GTE is like supercar, and that runs over everything. The stock cars, they also run over everything. As I mentioned before, I use these two a lot to test stuff out, but they have older braids on them, brushes, braids, whatever you want to call them. The pickups basically that pick up the electricity are older, worn, irregular, blah, blah, blah. So they don't respond to weak track as well as the black GTE or the Nighthawk. So when I ran that Camaro this morning, the maroon Camaro I just showed you, it was just to have fun. The main point of this video is don't forget why you bought all this stuff. Like, I'm working all day prepping and painting track, and it's like, well, I didn't buy the racetrack to paint and prep plastic, right? I bought the racetrack to run cars. So I'm going away for a week, going down to the islands. Chiang Mai's up in the north, near the Myanmar border, near what used to be called Burma. It's 9 hours north of Bangkok, as I mentioned in my first video. So It's great. It's very scenic, mountains. You know, it's a really cool town, but it's not the beach. And Thailand is really known for its beaches and its islands. So every couple of months or so, 3 or 4 months, I'll take my girlfriend down to the islands, down to the beach, Pattaya, or one of the Ko's. Ko or Koh means island in Thai. So we're going to Koh Lipe, Lipe. Beautiful island, not super touristy, kind of a getaway thing. For, you know, it's like a weekend getaway, but we're going for a week. So this will be my last video for probably a week while I'm gone. But just once again, the point, I just stopped to film it, show you the car, the stock car with worn brushes does get around the whole track, but you can see a couple of issues. I heard some clicks when it was going around. I have some track joining issues still here, even with the paint. You see that on the ramp, it's making it too straight here and then down. It needs to be down like that. That's why I had the 2 boxes of model paint sitting on top of here for a day to try to press that down. When I get back, I'll probably put that in the sun to soften it, like I said. And then I think there was another click issue over here somewhere. I must have run the car and listen for it. Then you saw at half throttle, the car went like a bat out of hell down this straight, but then went slow down that straight in the back, my big straight. So something over there, even though I already replaced one piece of track that was literally dead, one of the connections over there isn't good. And I can do a short video on connections. It's really simple. On old track like this has been moved around and taken apart a bunch of times, there's little metal tabs that go on the back of the track connectors. And all you do is take a screwdriver and flatten them out. These things right here. Those wind up like this one, standing up. You can actually see inside the gap there. That should be down and smooth. But you never, and I said never, did you hear me say never? You never adjust that when it's not attached to another piece of track, because you can over adjust it and collapse it, and then the little tang, the male connector, won't go in if you crush that tube down too tight. So always tighten those and adjust those when it's connected to another piece of track. I was doing that last night actually for the curves. I tightened them up, and you can still see a crack in the middle. Once again, on the video that you'll see before this one, you can see the separation on those hairpins. There's a little bit of a gap in both of them. So I tightened it. I connected them and tightened it, and still there's a gap. You know, whereas on this track, for instance, there's really no gap. It's like a tight seam. That's what you want. That's normal, like it looks there, where it's right up against each other. There's no separation. So when you have that spacing in between, that seems like it's a problem with the Jesus Christ, hairpin. Fucking losing my mind. The hairpin turns seem to have that problem because they all seem to have that separation. Every piece of track I have with hairpin, it's got a distinct seam in it. And I don't have that with the regular curves. They match up nice. So anyway, yep, don't forget why you bought the track in the first place. This is a hobby, and you know, you bought the track to run the cars. And so today, before I go on my little week trip, I just ran the car around the whole track. And so that's good news on a couple of fronts, is that one of my stock Scalextric cars without any special tires or special brakes or special gear or special motor, box stock Scalextric car made it around the track, you know, without me using the little grabber thing. So that's cool. I'm having fun. You know, don't forget to have fun, use the cars. That's what you bought 20 cars because you want to use them, right? You use them all. And I do. You know, never forget that the hobby is fun. That's, I guess, the main point. And yeah, she's back together, albeit temporarily again. I will get the can of paint, the new paint and the new masking tape ordered while I'm gone. It will be here when I get back. And my goal of having every curve painted will be accomplished. I'm almost there. I ran out of tape with, you know, 3 curves here, 2 curves here, 5 curves, 6, 7 curves. That's it, 7 pieces of track I have to paint. So one can will absolutely do that. And whatever straights, I'm gonna wind up making the, like over there, the entry and exit to the curves will also be painted that same. And I guess I'll go ahead and paint these 2 quarter tracks since this part will probably stay. I'm gonna keep the long straight, I'm gonna keep the bank curve. So this is probably gonna be the long-term solution. I'll think about it before I do it because I don't want to paint those if they're going to be on the straightaways anywhere. And I use those a lot. Those are absolute lifesavers. The quarter straights and the half straights, you'll see those all over the track. And in one place, which this can't stay, obviously, this is definitely going to change, I had to use the bridge part because the gap was a little bit longer than a half. Those flyover bridge pieces are a little bit longer than a half track. Right here, you got the half track. Right here, you got the bridge piece. You see how it hangs over? You know, line it up there. And you can see it goes down to here, whereas the half stops here. So I actually needed a 3/4 piece, or I mean, it's with the quarter piece there. It's still shorter than a whole track. A whole track will not fit there, it's too big. The half was too small, and 3/4 was too small. The 1/4 and the half was too small. So I wound up throwing the bridge in there just to connect it. Well, that won't stay. I will change that at some point. So, yeah, that's it. I'll cut this one off, real super short video. As I said, I won't be doing a video for about a week because I'll be out of town, be away from my baby. Don't forget to run your cars, enjoy the hobby, have fun. And yeah, the track is to the point where I can run any car on it, which is super cool. I'm excited. And yes, it will change again. And yes, I'm not done painting yet, but whatever. It's a functional track as of today, and that makes me happy.